It's Friday, October 20th. This is an end of the day, an end of the week SPY recap, and today we end up on the daily chart with another two-down day. We held below the midpoint of the prior day. We made a new low, and we obviously had another big red bar to the downside. After reversing up here early in the week, we're now moving, lower as anticipated, and there are still targets below that we haven't hit yet, but we will get into that in a minute. So in terms of today, the actual trading right out of the gates, coming into today, we knew we were a little bit of exhaustion risk down here, but we just wanted to see, where price action led us, and the pre-market range between the blue lines. First bar kind of paused here. We took out a little stop right up there. I was thinking we might try to take out these stops first before reversing, but anyway, we reversed on bar two. There's your opportunity to buy puts or sell, and then we had a nice push down, for about 2 hours. So there was a great morning trade here. I shot some videos how there was an opportunity to scalp, not really, it's just kind of a secondary kind of thing to scalp a long trade on this pullback. And then the real secondary trade of the day was in here, where we had the two up, one bar, two down, and that ended up moving to the lows of the day. So really it was that morning trade down, and ideally you wouldn't really mess with this stuff. And once you kind of came up and took out these liquidity areas that I marked out and got into that fair value gap, this was a perfect reversal signal to try another short trade, and it ended up moving lower and then eventually taking out the lows of the day. So we end up here, down near the bottom of an area. You can still see we have a little way to go to hit this target. I think that should happen next week. So in other words, on the weekly chart, even though it's a big 3-bar and there's no real actionable signal, you expect a little follow through lower on this one, and we do have that target down here. At that point, we have to see if we get maybe a 3, 2 down, 2 up. That'll take 2 weeks to develop. Maybe we just open up for some reason next week and stay inside all day. Any inside bar can be a 3, 1, 2 reversal. Even though you're not necessarily expecting that, I think we'll get 3, 2 expansion to the downside. Then it's a question of how that week ends, if we can get a potential reversal, and that's going to take at least 2 weeks to form, the way I see it. The only other option would be if we come down early in the week, take out those lows, and immediately reverse up strongly through the midway point of that week. Other than that, the buys are still to the downside. The monthly chart has turned red, and we have a target down here. I drew this purple line. That's kind of where we're heading to broaden out. Now that we've come down through the midway point of this big green bar, we should head down there, and there are other targets below that. So our immediate target is not only these lows, but then, the monthly low of 416, kind of 79, I think it is, somewhere in that area. So, we should follow through a little lower there. And then it's a question of, if we continue with a continuity down, we might have to look for, 2 up, 2 down type trades, or even liquidity kind of runs to the upside before heading lower. That's going to be maybe the best opportunities, given that we do have a little exhaustion risk to the downside. So we'll see what unfolds. Like I said, the big picture, the big thing is, until this weekly chart really turns up, we have to kind of just be biased to the downside, and that's not going to happen for at least 2 weeks, the way I see it, unless, like I said, you get that move down and then a strong move up through the midpoint of the bar. Other than that, there's pivot machine gun targets here. So this thing in the big picture can, really get pretty ugly as we head lower. And the monthly chart, is now continuing low with a lot of targets down here. So, we had this happen once before, and it took many months of heading lower. And I don't know if this could be the start of that, especially when I look at this monthly chart and see a lot of that pivot machine gun stuff here, to take out targets on the way down, but who knows? We kind of came through this fair value gap. It didn't look like we held, so we should be hitting lower targets here on the monthly chart. And again, until this weekly chart even possibly turns up, and that wouldn't even guarantee, maybe we turn up for a week, in 2 weeks, and then don't reach our target up here and then turn down again. So there's no guarantee that even starts an up move, but at least it would be the only thing to even begin to consider the upside. So big reversal week. We were anticipating it, a lot of good days to take advantage of it, and we'll just have to see, next week what unfolds with starting a little bit lower in some form, but, be ready for a little bit of pausing along the way, and we will just have to see how the end of the month goes.